Welcome to the Ultra High Net Worth Clients Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Broadhead. We started this podcast as a way to create a central resource of the best financial advisor practice growing tips shared by the most outstanding advisors in the industry, of which our guest today is definitely one. These outstanding financial advisors agree to be on the show and provide a ton of value for free, all in the hopes that our audience might learn from their words. My father was a financial advisor, and financial advisors are the main clients we serve, so my marketing agency's mission is to help every financial advisor grow their business in an effort to help the world become more financially secure. Today, we have the rare pleasure of talking with an incredible financial advisor, Rose Price. Rose, can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you?
Yes. Well, first of all, thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
I've been in the business, been a financial advisor and in the business for about 24 years now. I have a firm outside of DC in Vienna, Virginia. We've got 20 employees, 9 advisors, and 11 support staff. We manage about 1.2 billion in the area, and we're really happy to be a part of the podcast and look forward to talking a little bit more about what we do.
Nice. That is that is a mouthful you've just shared. Let's dig into that. So you said you got started about 24 years ago when
That's
when
right.
you were 6, obviously.
Yes, when I was 6. Got to start early. Start saving.
Awesome. How did you decide on this industry as the one for you?
To be honest, it was kind of by accident. I actually attended college at Penn State and was during college, actually managed a restaurant while I was going to college. My degree is actually in accounting and business. And I'd gotten married after college. My husband and I had a daughter, and we both quickly realized that you can't really have children and both work in the restaurant business. Uh,
Mm.
and you may have heard of, a little football team that Penn State has up there. So
Oh yeah.
often that meant 80-hour weeks during football season. So I rethought it, went back up to, went to a career fair and said, well, I'll just apply to a bunch of the local companies. Turns out I interviewed with several. The one I kind of landed on was a registered investment advisor at the time in State College outside of Penn State. And went in as a project manager for the president and vice president, which led me to kind of go in all the different departments, work with them. So I really got to learn a lot about the business and all the different areas, whether it was money transfers, opening accounts, really from the beginning to the end. And then the last group I ended up working with was the investment services group. And as you'll probably not be surprised, I asked a lot of questions and sat down, was doing a lot of questions, trying to see how I was going to help support their group, what would made sense. And the president of the group said, you really should just get your licenses and become an advisor because you're asking better questions of some of my portfolio managers and that stuff. So kind of how I got in the business. I was there for a year when my husband graduated and we moved to Virginia. And I thought maybe I'd use my accounting degree that lasted about 32 days. And then I met Bruce and the rest is history. I've been at VLP, which is now VLP, for the last 23 years.
Uh, because they were very likable people.
That's right. Very likable people, very likable planners. Yes.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so an RIA 24 years ago, that was a rarity,
It
right?
was. As a matter of fact, at the time, that RIA was one of the largest on Fidelity's platform on the independent side. They actually did more, they supported advisors and did like more of the wealth management piece of it. And advisors were associated through their RIA. So at the time, I think it was about $1 billion back in 2000. That was pretty big
Wow.
firm. Yeah.
Yeah. With inflation rates today, that's like 20 billion.
Yeah, things just like that. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. So it sounds like there's some level of like the heart of it. RIAs are fiduciaries. They're sworn to, do what's in the best interests of the client. You were asking very, good questions showing you cared about the client's well-being. Was there some aspect of the caring for clients that attracted you to this role?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, being an advisor, you really get to spend time with clients. And for us being financial planners, it's all about trying to figure out where they've been, where they are, and where they want to go. So that's, you really have to understand the client. You got to care about what they're going through. They're going to come in with some preconceived concerns, issues. They've got history for sometimes, since situations maybe they didn't handle best as in financial. And really, it's not our job to judge. It's our job to help figure out, hey, where do you want to go? What resources do you have? And how do we get you there? And that really spoke to me because it gives you an opportunity to really build a relationship with clients, really get to understand them, listen. I think that's one of the most important things in our job. A lot of people say, well, I don't want to get into the finance or the financial advisor. My kid says all the time because I don't want to deal with numbers all day. I said, really? I don't numbers all day. I deal with people all day. Sometimes there's numbers associated with that, but it's a really great opportunity to work with people, get to know them, get to know what's important to them. And, kind of our tagline is live greater at VLP. And a lot of times that isn't just about the money. It's about how they show up, how they get to spend time with family and friends. If they're charitable, what are the things that are important to them? And then we can help figure it out. So it's been a really rewarding experience.
Hmm. Yeah, that's awesome. I hear that a lot, from the highest AUM having advisors. They're always like I don't really talk about numbers very much. We talk about like emotions more than anything.
Oceans, their kids, their dog, whatever
Yeah,
it is that day.
the
But
things that actually matter. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I'm curious, you know, I think just humans as a whole, like we're very good at deceiving ourselves, and sometimes the the best solution is right in front of us, but we just can't see it. And if, like if I point something out to my wife, I'm like, hey, she's like, oh, why are you always like second guessing me?
Yep.
It can come off as a little, um, conflict focused. Do you have a strategy for, without raising a client's, defenses, like making them feel attacked, where you can get to the root of their needs and help them reach their goals?
Yeah, I mean, it takes a lot of you gotta ask a lot of questions. You gotta do the upfront. Um, for me, it's asking questions, you listen, you you refrain back to them, "Hey, here's what I'm hearing. Does this sound correct?" And you gotta be careful because there's gonna be things that are gonna come out again, if they felt that they made a bad financial decision, you gotta figure out how to address it, but address it in a way that doesn't seem like you're attacking them or there's conflict, where you can say, "Well, here's what I'm hearing, so but let's focus on what you wanna do, and how if we do that, we gotta probably make some changes, and how will that look?" Um, so for me, it's really, we got a lot of questions we ask clients when they come in. Part of it is just getting to know what's important to them. Like I said, for us, a lot of times, money, yes, money can help solve some issues. That's true. If you have resources, you might be able to do different things that you wouldn't be able to do. But it doesn't always mean that that's going to make everybody happy. Is it that they want to be charitable? They want to spend, yes, they've done well in their career or their job, but that's not really what drives them and gets them up in the morning. And we see that a lot. We see a lot of times where clients come in and they've been very successful and they get to maybe the top of their organization and they go, this is it. And helping them figure out, okay, well, what's the next chapter look like? What is it that you're really passionate about? And that takes time. It's this is not a, intro meeting that you get to go in, tell them how great your firm is and what you do. It's really just sitting down across the table, asking those questions to really see what is it that's important to them? Why is that important? How do we help them figure out how to get there? Or what changes do they need to make? And a lot of times it's just sometimes, clients will say, what do we owe you for therapy? Because that's what it seems a little bit like, at the end of the meeting. But the bigger key is, it's just really just showing up, listening, asking some questions, and don't do all the talking. That's a big problem. And
Mm,
for me, probably a problem I had initially because I think you'll probably see I like to talk. Um, but nonetheless, it's having that ability to connect with them, help them figure out. And sometimes it's going to take a little while, especially if, we see a lot of times with clients who have been in high position jobs, high power jobs, and really been involved that, having that transition to retirement to the next chapter can be a struggle. So you really do have to help them figure out what that's going to look like and what it means.
mhm. Absolutely. I- I'm curious how has because listening and being empathetic is very important for this industry, obviously. And I find like as a man, I find it easier to open up to my wife or like, a close female friend than I do like, my guy friend who were like, yeah, bro. Um, have you noticed an advantage there, like easier to kind of get to the root of things with clients or prospects?
Yeah, it does seem sometimes that, if from a woman's perspective, we tend to be a little bit more empathetic. We tend to, when you go to a movie, we tend to be the one who cries when the dog, or whatever, and
Yeah.
your guy friends, maybe not so much. Um, but yeah, just having that ability to relate and just have that experience where, yeah, we can kind of put ourselves in someone else's shoes and say, okay,
Mhm.
I understand, where that could be an issue or how that can be a challenge and how could we overcome that. I do think it's been interesting as the industry has changed. When I got into this position where I am in Northern Virginia, I remember going to an association meeting, financial planners, and maybe there was 3 women in the room of about 100 men. Uh,
Yeah.
and that's
Wow.
changed a bit over the years, but it's very interesting that most advisors still are primarily men, and we're seeing
Mhm.
more and more women get in there. But the empathy side it does help. I always tease my 2 of my partners because they are, um we do all we do, like, the personality testing, like Colby, we use Caliber, that kinda stuff, so, we can see my empathy is off the charts, so, yeah. No one in the office is more empathetic, and it's funny because we can have these conversations about us, but I always tease that my 2 partners are the husbands sometimes for our single female clients that they never had. The one who can listen and do this thing,
Yeah.
they tend to do very well, but it is interesting. I mean, it's definitely whether you can be a one-on-one relator, whether you have that great empathy, it all comes back to that being able to listen, being able to connect with someone and helping them, get to help them figure out where they want to go to. Because, money, number one stress in life, you see all the studies, it's money, right? And people
Mhm.
stress about it all the time. And if you can take a little bit of that stress off and make that meeting more of a comfortable place and a safe place where they can open and talk, openly, then I think it really can help the relationship. And also, you can help your clients do so much more when you get to that level.
Mhm. Yeah. Absolutely. And that's great. I'd love to hear, 20 like the industry today, like obviously there's a lot more female advisors, but probably starting 24 years ago, I mean, like you said, there were 3 out of 100. How did you like hit your stride? How did you reach momentum in your practice? Did you find a niche? What was your secret there?
So when I started here, I was an assistant portfolio manager to the lead advisor to the founder. And fortunately, I was in a scenario where our founder is also a great mentor. So he always gave us he gave me lots of opportunities. He allowed us to continue to grow. If, when I would have my annual review and say, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And I'd say, I want to be an advisor, or I want to do this. And he never said, no, that's not your job. He said, okay, well, how do we get there? So for me, that was a really fortunate opportunity. I tell a lot of anyone who's trying to get into our industry, I'm like, find a great mentor. It and because the business has changed. 40 years ago, you went in somewhere, you got a phone and a phone book, and you called for new clients. That doesn't, cold calling doesn't really work. Most people don't answer those anyway. Um, so you really need to find someone to help you mentor, and this business can be tough. So finding an opportunity where you can work on a team with the fiduciaries, where you can kind of grow into the business, is important. We also manage some 401k plans, so we allow our associates to go out, meet with the 401k plans, get that. They can go ahead and start forming those relationships. They get to do the education. So it's a great entry into our position, our business, and they can get paid, right? There's revenue. We could pay them a salary to do that. So I think that's been a fortunate opportunity for me. As a result, I was able to build my confidence. I was able to hone my skills. I was able to continue growing. And then as we've gotten bigger and I was able to move into more of just a full-time financial advisor position, it's been really beneficial to have all that experience behind me. So it's been an interesting journey, and everybody can people get their different ways. You tend to find that men are willing to take more risks, so they don't necessarily need one. They can come in and they're willing to maybe try on a commission basis to be an advisor, or maybe join a firm and do different things. Where part of the reason women are still only about 23% of the advisors is we tend to need a salary. We want to be more stable, and then we can work our way over into that type of scenario. So for me, though, it's been the ability just again to go out, meet some people, get some relationships, and then over the years be able to build my business, my practice.
Awesome. Awesome. Hey, have there been any key relationships or kind of key networking opportunities that have led to a lot of clients or large clients?
Yeah, for me personally, it's been my CPA relationships or estate planning attorneys. And how I kind of started to look at that is when a client would come in, we consider ourselves the quarterback of their financial relationship. So, hey, you have a will? Do we need a trust? Do you have an estate planning attorney? Who's doing your taxes? How's that going? So, uh, we would find out who those people are. Do you mind if we reach out so we can talk and make sure we're all in the same field, make sure we understand what we're doing, how your tax situation looks, so that the things that we're doing over here doesn't disrupt that. So for me personally, I would always reach out to the CPA, the estate planning attorney, and probably my best relationship is one of the CPAs that I called. That was my client's CPA. She is now my CPA also, and but she's also one of my largest clients. Several of my largest clients have come from that relationship because we were able to work together. Uh, we were able to see what they were doing. We could be strategic together. It's been really great because this CPA is a very strategic CPA. So we've been able to do a lot of interesting, uh, strategies to help the clients and work through that. When we're doing Roth conversions, maybe they own a business, they could do PTET in their state. So that relationship's been probably the best for me personally. Networking's hard because you go into a room, you meet a lot of people, and you got to figure out how you're going to stand out. So having that ability to have that one-on-one conversation. So I tend to invite the CPA out to lunch so I get to know them, understand who their clients are, what they're looking for, and vice versa on the estate planning attorney. So for us, we've had a lot of success with forming those relationships with those COIs.
Got it. Got it. So the one main CPA who then became your CPA, um, she's been a huge part of, finding great new clients? And then you actually have relationships with other CPAs as well?
Yes. So here's what this is very common. I part of we have clients all over the country. We're outside of DC. So tends that clients tend to maybe work here and then eventually move away from here. Traffic is not as fabulous. We were talking about, LA is probably just slightly worse than DC. Um, so we have a lot, and we have clients that are in different tax levels, right? We have clients that are going to need someone who is very strategic. They're in their peak earning years. We've really got to spend a lot of time making sure what they own, how they own it, and understanding all that tax side of it. Then we have clients who they're retired. They don't necessarily need that expensive tax return. They don't need all their schedules. They're more basic and simple. And a part of it's just location. A lot of clients still want to see their CPA. Less, it's pared back a little bit since COVID, but it's definitely been an area where I thought it's been very interesting. If they form a relationship and they move, they tend to still sometimes want to see that CPA or know them. So we have lots of different CPAs that we work with because, again, maybe someone really understands Roth conversions and homestead taxes and Florida. If they're moving to Florida, how's that going to work? Maybe someone who's well versed in. We have a lot of clients who are getting oil rights, which has been very interesting. So their family sold their land, but they kept retained the mineral rights. These things are popping up. So again, from time to time, we got to find, a CPA that may specifically understand that type of scenario and tax scenario, which means we have different CPAs for different clients because we got to meet them where they are.
Awesome. So do you have specific strategies for meeting and building relationships with these CPAs where there's trust, a friendship develops to the point where and they obviously see you for the exceptional advisor that you are, and then they're comfortable or even feel like they're doing their clients a favor by connecting them with you.
Yeah. So we do hold some different events. Mainly, I start out with a lunch, and we try to do a lunch or two, couple with the client, with the CPA or the contact, to get to know them. Again, know their business. If they have other team members on staff, we'll often bring some of our associate advisors just to meet them. A lot of it really develops so when you're working on a specific client. When you're working on a client, you're going back and forth on a strategy. You're saying, "Hey, we just met with so and so. We were talking about this. Uh, can we run through a couple scenarios? Here's what we're seeing. What are your thoughts?" So really having them involved in that big picture and them getting to see our strategic thinking, what we do for clients and vice versa. Again, that allows us really to kind of build that relationship. During tax season, this specific CPA, my staff sends lunch every other, they pick a day. They chose Monday. So every other Monday we set because they come in usually after a busy weekend. Um, my my team delivers lunch to them so they don't have to leave. They get to pick the menu. And we do that about 8 weeks through tax season. So
Mhm.
giving them the ability to just, focus on their tax returns, get a little break. Cause sometimes I just from a conversation, like, I didn't have time to eat today. I'm like, why didn't you have time to eat? I was like, you know what? We'll send you food. We'll send some food. So, and that way her team is, my team a little bit because they're reaching out. We're doing stuff. And another CPA that we do have a lot of clients with, we do a after the tax season, like, big thank you lunch, happy hour with them. So it's
Mhm.
an ability again for their whole team to decompress after a very busy time, and our team to, go in and in some cases meet the people they've been sending stuff back and forth with, uh, time after time. So, and
Mhm.
mostly, a lot of the senior advisors, partners have the same similar relationship, and we have portals with all the CPAs. So in most cases, we're sending 20 clients 1099s and their tax forms directly to them instead of them having to chase down with the client. So worked out fairly well for us.
Okay. So it's just being a good friend and looking out for them.
Yeah,
It's
believe it or not, CPAs are
just
people though. Yeah.
treating them like human beings.
Yes, treat them like human beings.
Mm.
Uh,
Yeah.
most of them have a very finite window. I mean, we always tease because most of them take off the month of May.
Oh,
But
they should.
yeah, January
Uh,
through April is usually a pretty crazy time for them. So again,
yeah.
um, yeah, treat them like people, I guess, during that time frame.
What a concept.
Yeah.
Awesome. So you mentioned an oil rights niche that you sometimes need to uh, work with different CPAs on. Are there specific niches that you have found yourself connecting better or thriving with?
Been interesting. We on our corporate 401k side, we have three large auto dealers in our area. So we have a lot of, the auto business can be very up and down and cyclical. And since COVID, it's been very interesting. But so there's a lot of moving parts there. Certainly, when you're dealing with the general managers, the controllers of those locations. But we don't really have a specific niche. We do have a one advisor on staff who's a certified divorce financial analyst. So she does a lot of divorce work as a case. And part of the reason I would say we haven't had a lot of niches is um, we have bought, we've helped 9 advisors retire. So we have done 9 succession plannings back before it was even
Wow.
a thing. Bruce did his first buy in 1999. Then we did another one in 2001. So we've as a result, a lot of some of our clients come from that relationship that advisor had and then from the referrals. We do have one of the advisors who we helped retire, who's also one of my favorite people. It was a retired naval captain. So we have a lot of Navy
Oh, cool.
clients. So that's been interesting. And then also in our area, obviously, we're going to get a lot of government employees. So, understanding their pension system, whether they're on FERS, whether they're on CSRS, we're all very well versed in that just because of our proximity to DC.
That's cool. Um,
And I think one
yeah,
of the benefits of us having 9 advisors is usually somebody here has dealt with something,
yeah.
and we have that resource. We can walk down the hall and say, "Hey, I've got this case, yada, yada, yada." I'm like, "Oh, go see so and so. They did, they're well versed in that. They can walk you through all that, those kinds of things." So it works well for us. We don't have to, because we've got 9 of us, we can have those who can focus a little bit on different things, and we can use them as a resource as a result.
Mhm. That's awesome. That's great to have that support. Is the structure of VLP, each advisor controls, has their own book and then you all share resources, or is it one giant book that everyone supports?
Well, we're a true ensemble. Everybody's a W-2 employee in VLP, including partners. Everyone is assigned their lead advisor on specific clients, but all the clients are clients of the firm. So if
Right.
anybody calls in and, for example, one of our advisors is out maternity leave for three months, everybody here can pick up on that scenario. But within our structure, everybody has a set team, so the clients know who they call for what. Um, for my team, I've got my own portfolio manager. I also have my own client service manager. My other partner, has a completely, we share a portfolio manager, but same kind of structure. So for us, it was really important that we give our team and our advisors the support they need, and then it also leads to the clients having a team and support that they need when, an advisor's in a meeting. If I'm not available, they can easily be connected to the portfolio manager. They know them, they know their scenario, they know their situation. And if they need, I always tell everybody, Andrea is my client service manager. I said, if you need money, paperwork, and that kind of stuff, just call Andrea direct because I don't do any of that anyway. And let's just go straight to the person who's going to get it done. But yeah, our structure's been a little bit different. We market, we revamp everything's under VLP. So we market as one team, we're one firm. That way, if a client comes in and maybe they're better suited for somebody who has an experience area that I'm not as well versed, that then that's who I will introduce them to and say, oh, you know what, you'd be better suited with Liz because she really understands this part of, and has several clients in that arena. So it gives us the ability to be very flexible.
Yeah, that's I can see a lot of significant advantages of that structure. And I think, once again, um, you all are ahead of the curve, on the RI space and ahead of the curve on everyone's a W-2 under the VLP
Yeah.
banner.
Yeah.
So
Which makes it a show because we're with a broker dealer, even though our business is 99% advisory. Um, a lot of companies are know how to deal with a true ensemble. Everything is usually reported directly through one rep and their rep number, and it's more siloed. But we're fortunate our broker dealers really looking at how to support that ensemble team and identify that we're a true W-2 firm and how that works for not only us but for the clients also.
yeah, yeah. The advisors we've talked to that either started firms with that structure or working at firms with that structure, they just have this air of like everything's cool. They're much more peaceful, I would
Yeah.
say. So yeah.
Well, if you think about it, if you go somewhere and you feel like you have a team and someone to support you, then, it's when you're out there on your own and you feel like you're on an island, it's tough. You know, it,
Mhm.
it's a tough business when you're trying to figure out things on your own. Our goal is that we can support our team and, we share our ideas or, everybody is available to use our ideas and our team versus, hey, no, you got to figure out yourself. You eat what you kill. 'Cause eat what you kill can be really hard when maybe you're having a bad month.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's you guys have incorporated community into the structure of the business, which is so powerful.
Yeah, that's really important to us. In our core values, our first one is people first. And it's
Yeah.
not just the client, it's our staff and our team. If, we take care of our team and our staff. And again, by having that safety of knowing, hey, I have a salary, I don't, I have this comfort. I know what I'm going to make. Yes, there might be some bonuses if, we do well. That just gives them the ability to focus on taking care of the client, helping each other out, which I think is really something we want to foster here at VLP. All of the client service management team, we all run the same software or the same technology. We have the same workflows, so they can plug and play when someone's out on vacation. And I think that's huge. You go away on vacation, you're dreading coming back because no one did your
Hmm.
work for a week. We don't that doesn't happen, here.
Oh
We pick up
wow.
the pieces, and we
Yeah,
each step in for each other, which I think is huge.
that really is. Yeah, I just had like a rush of endorphins thinking about being in a situation like that.
It's
Yeah.
good for the client because if you a client can't always, um, they can't always things are gonna pop up. They can't stop things from life doesn't stop when your advisor or your team's on vacation. So,
Hmm.
having the ability to have, uh, somebody that can answer the call, help you walk through a scenario while maybe somebody's out or a team member's out, I think it's a great opportunity for the client and for the team, be able to help and learn and grow, all together.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. Well, we are already over our time, so I want to respect your valuable time here. I could definitely continue asking you questions for the rest of the afternoon, but I will respect your time. I'm curious what what's on your radar now? Like you've been working in this industry for 24 years. You're almost 30. What's next? Like, are you gonna, just keep crushing it, or are you gonna kind of, I know my dad, the last like 5 or 10 years of his career, he came in like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's like my business partner, Bruce. I tease him that you work 12 days a month because he does.
Yeah.
Work Fridays and he takes like 1 week vacation most month. And he goes, but I'm full time all 12 days. So, um, and to his point, in our business, it doesn't have to be a light switch off or on. It could be a dimmer switch. I'm certainly not even close to the dimmer switch side of things yet. I'm really excited about our firm, our team, where we're going. One of our other core values is growth oriented, and we'll say if you're not growing, you're dying. Which for our team, that's a good thing, right? If we're all trying to build opportunity for the next generation, and for the next generation of clients. So we're looking to keep build this thing, and we're at 20 now. Our 10-year goal is to be at 30 employees. So we're looking forward to seeing where the path takes us and how we can help not only our clients get to their goals, but also our team. I've got probably about a 20-year runway, 15 to 20.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Before I start the
Uh,
dimmer switch.
yeah. That's exciting. And what's are there key plans in place to you want to grow by 50% essentially is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Well, what are like the key performance indicators you guys are focused on to do that?
Um, so good point. We have several. We run EOS internally, so that's our management leadership team. So every Monday,
Entrepreneur operating system?
yes, yeah. So every Monday, we go through all of our key indicators, and each team has their own set. At the leadership level, we're looking at how many client meetings we're having a week. Because if you're not meeting people, that's a problem, especially when you have 9 advisors. How many initial meetings we have, where we are as far as financially, what about how many assets are we managing, and how much staff? Do we have any, positions open? Do we need to add staff? So when we look at that in our business plan, we're forward thinking. Who do we have to add? Where do we need to add staff? Where are we at a critical point? How many clients does each advisor have? How much does each team have? So all those things factor into it. But most of our, main thing is getting in front of our clients and centers of influence and people, making sure we're maintaining those relationships, we're building on those. If we do a good job on that, then most of everything else should be easy.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, the EOS system is amazing.
It's been great. Yeah, we
Yeah.
started it about 2 years ago, because we were having Bruce was phasing down, and we need to have a leader. I need to put a leadership team in place to take over
Yeah.
all the roles and responsibilities. So it's been fabulous for us.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. And my final question, and you can take it in any direction that you like. It's open-ended. It's your interpretation of it. What are you working towards?
What am I working towards? Cool. Um, I just like to help people. So I think for me, it's it's been really exciting watching the leadership change. It's been really exciting watching the next generation of leaders in the firm come up. So for me, it's all about growing my clients, growing my team, and just helping everybody get to where they want to go and be better. It's been a pretty fun journey, and when you get to celebrate milestones, whether it's clients' retirements, their kids' graduations, uh, the laundry list of all the things they sold their business. My team passed a certification, they passed a test. There's all those things really get to help us figure out where the next chapter is going to go. So for me,
Mhm.
that's it.
Yeah. Okay. That's awesome. That's very in line with, all the reasons you got into this industry. So love to hear that. That's great. And where can our audience find out more about you and the very lovely people?
Our website's a great place to start, VLPFA.com. That pretty much has all the history about us, what we do, who our team is, and how we help our clients live greater.
Mhm. Awesome. And we'll be sure to link all those in the show notes and on the website and everything. Rose, thank you so much for taking this time to talk to me. This was lovely. I really enjoyed this.
Thank you. Really appreciate it for the opportunity.
Yeah, awesome. All right, and to all our listeners out there, thank you so much for tuning in. Keep on growing out there, everybody. See ya.